here. Oh, there it says live chat. Let's hit that and see what happens. Okay, well, let's see. It just says learn more. I'm such an amateur at this kind of thing. So anyway, welcome to What's Up with Richard. And it is Thursday, and it is September 25th. And what we're going to do tonight is continue my little scenario about riding the Apple Cider Century coming up on Sunday. And we're going into the garage and see what I have to fix up here. Let me turn the camera around. Oh, there we go. Maybe give it a little different angle here than the back of this thing. There we go. I got my kneel pad so I can kneel down here and face the camera a little bit. All right. Yesterday, Wednesday, what did I do? Well, I didn't live stream it, but I did a little short. And what I did was clean the entire drivetrain, and I lubed it. And I got a wet, damp cloth, and I cleaned everything up the best I could from front to back. I'm not done yet, though, because what I have to do yet is I'll clean the rims. And on Saturday, I got to make sure all my lights are charged, and I'll show you what lights I have on here. Make sure I take my flags. I really wasn't sure if I wanted to fly all these, because I'll be honest with you, it's a challenge with all that drag. Come on, stay there. Yeah, that's good enough. Also, I have to make sure that the tires are inflated. Tomorrow's Friday. I have the neighbor's lawn to mow, front and backyard, so I need to get that finished. And I'm going to mow my front yard. That's about all I can tolerate in one day with my aching back anymore. And then on Saturday afternoon, I will finish up the backyard here. And what else? I'm going to try, I can't promise, I'm going to try to do a live stream from Three Oaks. The night before the ACC, town gets pretty crowded, and they do have an ice cream social. They have a band and those kinds of activities. They also have a little bicycle museum in Three Oaks. If I can get to the museum, if it's open, I'll take you in there if that's okay with the museum. And what else? I think that will be, see, we're going to church at 4 o'clock, so 5:30-ish Eastern Standard Time. We'll see what happens. I know I mentioned this in one video, but what I do on this trike now is I try to keep track of when I do certain things. For example, here, I did a bike check on 9/10. I knew that was fairly recent. And 9/24, so what is it? 2 weeks later, I did another bike check, which means I'm checking over all the nuts and bolts. I did not put down when I cleaned and lubed the chain the last time. So I got that listed on here at 9/24. That was yesterday. I try to do that, and I'll write down the mileage. It's on my phone right now, so I can't get to it. Write down the mileage. I try to do it every 250 miles. I always like to clean off the brake pads every couple rides, so I'll do that on Saturday too before I ride. And of course, the drivetrain, which is just basically, I call that the drivetrain. It's just a cassette. And I did that on 9, 24, 25. All right, let's see. Yeah, I just got my tape measure out, and I was doing some measuring because I'm going to try to put this trike into our Jeep Compass, which I've never put it into the Compass before. This bag is going to have to come off because the distance, it sort of rolls up onto that little center console, and this has got to come off because of the distance here, but that's not a big deal. I was a little worried about this, but the compass actually drops down a couple inches, so this should fit in there perfectly well. I'll need a little bit of help when I load it. Mrs. G's helped me before. It's not real heavy. Even with the battery, I think the whole thing's like 60 pounds. It's just bulky. When I get to the Apple Cider Century, my son has been parking cars there. The person who runs the Apple Cider Century has a bunch of jobs that people do, and he does pay them to do those jobs. And he takes some of his golfing players, he's a golf coach, local high school, and they park cars, and he gets paid, and they get paid to park cars, and then he uses that money for the high school golf team. So he's promised me to get me a good parking place where nobody will park behind me, and I can drag this thing out, and he'll make sure I get some help hauling it out. Either he can help me or one of his student golfers. Okay, let's go over some of the things that I take with me on every bike ride. And even though they have sag stops where I can pick up snacks, it's going to be a warm day, but they always have potatoes, hot potato soup. I'm not sure on a 78-degree day you're going to want to have some hot potato soup, but there have been some rides that have been downright cold, and that's nice. They always have Gatorade or water. They have cookies. They have, the one year they used to have peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The one year they had peanut butter and honey half sandwiches. So they have all that kind of thing. They also have an emergency number that I carry with me in case something just totally breaks down and can't fix it, and I'm going to need some assistance to get off of the route. Personally, my assistant will most likely be Mrs. G. She'll just have to come find me, whatever back road I'm on, which is what this entire thing is. It's ridden on back roads. Pretty rough. So when I air up the tires, max is 70 pounds of pressure in each tire. I've been pretty comfortable at about 62 pounds per pounds per square inch. Anyway, we'll get all that taken care of. What is in the bag? This is Chelsea. She's my mojo. She's been on all my bicycle rides, and don't worry, she won't fall off. She's safety strapped in. Sorry, Chelsea. This is my patch kit. Now, most likely I won't use a patch on the road. I'll show you why here in just a second. But you do need to have a couple things. I have vinyl gloves, keep grease and dirt off your hands. I also have a couple of tire levers, and these things, these are called scabs. They're just temporary patches. Oops. But I doubt that I would even try to patch a tube unless I have to. for cleaning off my glasses. And this is a tube. This is the 20-inch tube for the front tires. I only carry one spare, even though there's two. And here we have, this is a 24 by 1.75. They're both 1.75 so in width. And I only have one 24-inch here. Wet ones, because they don't have bathrooms, they have porta potties, and a lot of times they don't have any way to clean your hands, so these are always important. And this little bag, Kleenex, and I have some more wet ones in there. Another thing I have is a little hand sanitizer, Kleenex, like I said, and there's a small Band-Aids and things of that sort in case I get nicked or scraped if I was changing a tire or something. And all that goes in this little packet. And then I bought this when I was on a bicycle tour a few years ago because I was afraid it was going to pour rain and I needed my phone to be protected, and that's what this is. I have not used it ever, and hopefully I won't have to use it Sunday. Bike lock. It's just a cheapy little one. It's not going to keep anybody from stealing, but the person who might just want to roll it a little ways, that will prevent them from doing that. And what do I have here? This is my multi-tool. It's got everything I need to tighten anything up that needs to be tightened up. And also I have some cards here for my YouTube channel. And I have a water bottle. This one leaks. So usually what I do is I just put that in there. And it's a flag holder. Just like that. So I have this American flag. Doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum you're on. Pretty much everybody respects the American flag. So I call it a safety device. And of course, I have my two big flags there. What else do I have? Lights. I have a blinky light here. And I have a blinky light here that usually starts with the motion of the trike. And then when it comes to a stop, it should stop blinking and it becomes like a brake light. It becomes solid, brighter and solid. So those are the lights I have in the back. And let me move this around here. Like I said, the last live stream, we have high class video here. There it is. How do you like that little shark mouth on it? But this is a Dovey, and it is a bright white blinky light. I think you can see it. Yeah. I can only get about 3 hours out of this light. So I'm going to use it sparingly, especially in areas where there will be a lot of traffic. Like I said, almost all of this is on a road. There's only one short segment, I believe. I haven't seen the map yet, but from what I see the marks on the road, there's only one short segment that will be on the Red Arrow Linear Trail. Move this up. Okay, have the Easy Reach bag from Trike. And in here, I will keep my wallet. I always like to have mints and Tums in case I get some indigestion. I will also have a battery that will attach to my phone to keep it charged up, because that'll probably be on most of the time. And then, of course, I have this, which is, I call it my lock, but it's not really a lock. It's just a warning device if somebody tries to move the bike. It gives them a toot toot, and then if they continue to move it, it does make a lot of racket. All right, so I think that's all I really have to cover with the bike. It'll be totally ready to roll on Saturday night, and we'll be moving on it Sunday morning. Now, one of the things that, as a retired person for the last dozen years or so, is how do you keep yourself active? And one way that you can keep yourself active is by riding. You can walk. A lot of people walk. A lot of walkers around here, especially during the summer when we have a lot of visitors. People walking their dogs. People just going out walking. Have a lot of joggers. Have a lot of runners. You can tell the difference between a jogger and a runner just by how fast they're going. We also have a tremendous number of people who bicycle around here. And now that we have the bike paths, it's, I think, becoming more and more prevalent around here. I have seen 1, 2, 3, I know of at least 3 or 4 trikes that are now in town, and people have been riding by. I saw one person on a recumbent bicycle, but most people are still riding the old two-wheel bicycles like this one. Mrs. G's bike is in the back. This is a touring bicycle, not built for speed, but I have all the panniers and that kind of stuff that I could put on it. I really, if I could find one night in October, I could load this up very lightly with my tent, and sleeping bag and that kind of stuff, and go down to the state park. It's real close, 16 miles, and take it on a one-night tour. I think that'd be sort of fun to do that again. I haven't done it for, geez, I think it's been like 3 years now. So back here I have all my fishing gear, fishing chair, fishing poles. A couple of them belong to my grandkids. Here I have walking poles. The walking poles are great, especially this time of the year when the beach isn't so crowded. You can do poling in the sand. That makes for a really good workout. I'm going to have to be a little bit careful about the torn meniscus in my knee, but what the heck? You're trying to stay active as a retiree. The only thing I have not been able to do is just lose those extra pounds that I've put on over the years. And that just seems like a never-ending struggle. But my weight has always been pretty steady. It hasn't gone up a lot, hasn't gone down a lot. So anyway, keeping active, anything you can do is very helpful. Another thing that I do, I'll be right back. Ugh. Okay. I swing clubs. Some people say that's called golf. I don't necessarily call it golf. I call it swinging clubs. I did a YouTube video on the unboxing of these things. Oh, somebody just ran by. That was a runner, not a jogger. Oh, and I think that's Mrs. Jogger. It just went by, or Mrs. Runner. These I bought from Amazon. They are, this whole set of clubs cost me about $450. There are people that pay $1,000 or more just for their driver. So this is an inexpensive set of golf clubs. Came with the bag, and it's got a set of irons, putter. I have to purchase the golf balls, but it's sort of nice because usually when we lose a few golf balls, we always, where we're looking for our golf balls, somebody else lost one and we can find golf balls. So that's usually not a big deal. But we do this once a week. I used to like to walk the golf course, but unfortunately, I've developed some, I believe, arthritis in a couple of my right toes. And to walk 18 holes would be very uncomfortable. I could probably do 9, but most of the guys that I play with always want to play 18. So I've been riding in a cart. But even with that, you're still walking to the green back. You're getting quite a few steps in. In fact, yeah, I didn't wear my watch when I was golfing today. So you probably get 7, 8, 9,000 steps just playing golf. So this is another option. It's a more expensive option than a lot of activities. Down in New Buffalo here, we now have tennis courts, and there are people that will still play tennis, but the sport that's gotten extremely popular here in the United States and in this area is pickleball. And when I rode my trike by the other day, I stopped and watched, and it looks like folks were having a good time playing pickleball. Now, what I know about pickleball, zilch. But like I say, it does look like fun. Other people around here, I know I've seen skateboarders. We do have a skate park here for the younger kids. I don't think I would touch a skateboard any more than I could look at one. Yeah, the last time I was on a skateboard, I was probably 15. So anyway, those are activities that you can do. Fishing isn't really it's not something that's going to get your heart rate up, but it definitely is relaxing, and it can be sort of exciting if you latch onto a fish here or there. So those are some of the things that I've done. Those are some of the things I see people doing in the area. And that's one of the nice things about being retired is you have more of an opportunity to do those things. It's not like when I was teaching, I would get up at 6 in the morning, sometimes earlier. If I used to commute to school on my bicycle for the last 5 years I taught. I didn't do it every day, but I rode with a partner who did. And all winter long rode his bike to school. But I would do it a couple times a week, 3 times a week. We get up at like 4:30 in the morning. I'd meet him downtown at around 6, and it would take us about 35 minutes or so to finish the ride to the high school where we worked. And then we would turn around, and we would usually leave around 5. So we get all of our paperwork and lesson plans and all that stuff done. And then we'd ride home. So we'd be back here hopefully by 5:36. And not only did you get some exercise, but if I always said, well, this is a relaxing way to get home. He said, well, sometimes that's true, but he says, if you had a bad day at school, sometimes you rode a little bit faster than you probably should. But it was a good way to get exercise 2-3 times a week. And like I say, from here, it was only a little less than 10 miles one way. So I was getting about 20 miles of riding in 2-3 days a week when I rode bikes. Not this one. Unfortunately, the bike did I say that earlier? The bike I rode before, the frame cracked. So I donated that to Cycle Recycle, which is one other thing that I do, and that is I volunteer a couple times a month at a bike shop. It's a nonprofit bike shop in Benton Harbor. And what we do is we refurbish older bicycles and then we sell them um, at a really decent price. So people who are just getting into bicycling or somebody who wants to go back into bicycling, who doesn't want to, go to a bike shop where they're selling high-end bikes for, $1,500, $2,000, they can pick one up for a decent bike for somewhere between $150, $200 that has been reconditioned. And we sell quite a few. We sell quite a few to kids. It's amazing how many kids I've seen out riding bikes again. Maybe that was due to that COVID-19 when we sold every bike in the shop. If we had more bikes, we probably could have sold more bikes. Yeah, it just became a very popular activity. So now all I have to do is pack up all that stuff I just took out of the backpack here. Oh, that's one other thing I should talk about. Sunday, the low, when I get there at, trying to get in at about 6 in the morning, is about 52 degrees Fahrenheit. And by later in the afternoon, it's supposed to be 78. I'm assuming it's going to take me at least 5 hours of pedaling. And of course, you've got sag stops. So hopefully the whole thing will take somewhere between 6.5 hours. And hopefully my knee and my back will hold out. And I'm sure the motor is going to be very helpful on some of those hills on those back roads. But here's one thing that I can do. Let me back this up a little bit here. Boy, I'm getting running at the mouth here. I'll take the hat that I have on. This is pretty much packed with this stuff that I just took out. But I'm probably going to have my yellow jacket. It's like a windbreaker, maybe another long sleeve shirt, and then a short sleeve shirt. So what do you do with all that stuff? Well, it's real simple. This opens up, and these become little panniers right here. So all I have to do is unzip these, and I can put my coat and that extra stuff, sweatshirt, sweater, whatever I take with me in here, zip it up, and I don't have to worry about it. I know when I rode the bike, same thing happened, and I just had no place to put it on that particular bike. Anyway, I think I'm set. The bike is set. Just get my lawns mowed tomorrow. Hopefully Saturday I can take you to the ice cream social and maybe we'll interview some people. I've never done that before on YouTube. I've never interviewed anyone. See, why do they ride the Apple Cider Century? Have they had a good experience? Have they had a bad experience? Will they do it again? I mean, there are people who have been doing it for years. There are people who have never done it before. And there are people who are going to be riding it at 20, 25 miles an hour. And there are going to be people who are, after about 5 miles, are going to wish they hadn't started. I've seen it all. So anyway, I'll try to do that on Saturday, probably around 6:30. It's going to have to be closer to 6:30, probably. I don't know what kind of connectivity I'm going to have, but we'll give it a shot. Anyway, thanks for watching What's Up with Richard and putting up with my constant babbling. Anyway, I hope you have a great weekend. And for all you folks that ride on. And if you don't ride on, go ahead and start.